Hi, and welcome to this new video of my YouTube channel. This is Tony Hernandez Pumarejo, the Purpose Life Coach. The Purpose Life Coach for professionals that support others that need support, whether that is people with disabilities or special needs, mental health, disease, or any other needs. And those are the professionals that I'm a life coach for, and which is part of the conversation I want to have with all of you today. So I just want to say thank you for everybody for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, if you're interested in learning more about my content and be up to date with my videos, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tony Hernandez Pumarjo, the Purpose Life Coach, on YouTube, so that way you can keep up to date with my videos. And if you haven't done, if you want to learn more about my work, my life coaching service, and especially how can it be of help for you as a professional, I invite you to visit my website, thplifecoach.com, thplifecoach.com, so that way you can learn more about my coaching service, also my other services as well, and we can set up a time to talk. So I look forward to that. And again, thank you so much to all for tuning into this video. I understand that I haven't been around in a couple of weeks. I've been very busy with changes, making changes and taking care of other commitments. And I'll be talking about some changes I want to share with all of you in today's video. So I want to talk. I want to bring something um, that I was able to identify as part of my profession as a certified life coach. You may, as you may have known, people that follow me know that that I got my certification as a life coach. I got into the life coaching industry almost 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago, I got into this industry of life coaching. I got enrolled into the International School of Coaching as a next step towards in my career and also in my life in 2024. And since then, I was able to get my two certifications uh, with the International School of Coaching, including my life coach certification early this year, which means that I'm not only a life coach, but I'm also a certified life coach. And that's very important for my potential clients and people that are interested in my service to know that I'm a person that invested in his education and his formation and in training in order to serve others as a life coach. And I bring that up based on experience, commitment, and ethics. And I just wanted to mention that to you. I have shared the reasons why I became a life coach in the first place, about my work, especially with autism, special needs, and other disabilities, and including mental health, and how I was going to be a life coach. I've done content about life coaching. Um, Recently, it's been an up and down journey, to be in fact, because I've gone through so many changes, burnout, transitions here, transitions there, and I bring this all up not for because of me, but because something that I saw in my research that I think that is not talked about enough. As I have been a person with autism diagnosed early 90s. Later on, were diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome after 1994. And I have shared my story on the autism spectrum throughout the years, whether it's through my book, whether through my podcast, through this YouTube channel, and being an advocate for autism and also other related disabilities and also mental health. But I'm also being a professional for this population, for this community. I have worked and supported, whether it's been a volunteer for since 2014 for autism and mental health and other disabilities, to being a full-time professional, supporting the populate, the community for the last couple of years, overall 12 years that I supported the community. I have been always been in a position of providing support for others that are in need, other people that are in need of help. And that's what I do through my job. Working with individuals with a disability or a special need, whether it's autism, ADHD, mental health, OCD, Down syndrome, primarily autism, that are in need, and be able to provide support for those people that have a diagnosis. But I've always been clear to people that have followed my work throughout the years is that not only when we're talking about a person with a diagnosis of a disability or a special need, it is not only the person with a diagnosis that need the support, but also the families that provide care for that loved one with a diagnosis also need support. Their system, the community, or the ecosystem. I like to use ecosystem. I'm going to go with community. Parents, siblings, grandparents, depending on the age of the person with a diagnosis of a disability or special need or condition, they need support as well. And that's not talked about often as compared to this of providing the support to the person with the diagnosis. And that's and families and caregiver families are caregivers and they go through struggles, especially what is called the syndrome of the caregiver, which is they face high severe levels of burnout, health challenges because they have to provide care for their loved one with a diagnosis or a disability. And that's a reality that they face. And I've seen firsthand the reality. I'm not a parent of a special needs, of a person with a disability, but through my work and my profession, I have seen firsthand those challenges, so I can relate and talk about those challenges from my experience, both personally and professionally. So we talk about the support the parents need, the families that provide care need, but we also is not only the parents and the family, but it's also the people that support them through professions, people that work, professionals that support the disability or special needs population. Whether it's teachers, for example, or therapists, doctors, mental health therapy, caregivers, respite care, the professionals that work with the population or the community, that provide that support of others that need the support. A lot of times we don't talk too much about the challenges that the professionals and the professional caregivers face in this field. And, we don't give too much awareness to that. The other day, as part of my research, based on my profession as a life coach, today, I was kind of curious, to see if there was, for example, life coaching services for special needs professionals, as an example. Professionals that work with people with special needs or disability. I use the different terms because I'm bringing all the terms that are being used to describe the population. Then there's mention of like neurodiversity, but again, this is for the purposes so people can connect and know what I'm talking about. I was looking for life coaches for people with for the professionals that provide the support for people with special needs or disability. And I was able to get a couple of options for life coaching for parents and also life coaching for autistic teens and autistic adults or neurodivergent adults, for example. But I didn't saw anything for life coaching for special needs professional. And that, I didn't saw anything. I know that there's training for professionals of development, how to do their jobs better, how to grow in their careers and be able to provide the best support for this population because this is an emotionally high emotionally driven profession. It's a very demanding profession compared to working with a population that perhaps doesn't have a diagnosis or a normal population. Working with people and families impacted by disability is a very high demanding profession, and I can relate to that experience both as a person on the autism spectrum, and also as a professional supporting the community. And I realized that I didn't find any life coaching for the special needs professional, and that caught my attention because you know I've always say as an advocate, as a professional, when talking about autism in this case, and I talk autism because autism has been my primarily experience. When we talk about how to support people with autism, I always say that not only providing the support for the person, whether it's the child or the adult with the diagnosis, but also providing support for the families that provide the care for their loved one. Because it's not only the person with the diagnosis, it's also each behind each person with a diagnosis is there's a community of people that are part of their lives. Not only, and but it's not only family as well. It's also the therapists, the teachers, the professionals that are working with that child or that adult person with an autism or any other disability, ACD, OCD, Down syndrome, mental health, you name it. So it's like an ecosystem. But again, I like to use the word ecosystem. I use it again. There's a community behind each person with a diagnosis. And that's not talked about a lot. And I begin to realize that, I think that perhaps we need to talk about more about bringing support for the professionals and the professional caregivers that support these communities. And I'm not saying that the person with a diagnosis already has all the support that he or she needs, or the parents have all the support that they need. They need support. But as part of this process, it's very important to make sure that the professionals that provide the support for these communities are getting the support that they need as well, because they face many challenges: burnout, overwhelming, a lot of mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, uh, low pay, different challenges. And I can relate to this because recently I talked to a colleague of mine, friend of mine, that has a company that, for example, employ ABA therapies, ABA therapists, and also provide other therapy services and supports for autism. And I asked her, tell me a little bit more about the challenges that your professionals face. And she shared with me that one of the biggest challenges is burnout. And that's what I see in the studies. 60-70% of special needs professionals face high levels of burnout. And in fact, she even mentioned to me, because we're talking about, let's see, if perhaps any of her, of her team is interested in potentially working with a life coach. And she shared with me that 4 people of her team were interested in life coaching. 4 people. So that tells you something, that there's a need out there. They may not be looking for a life coach actively on social media or Google, but perhaps coaching can be the tool and the support that they need. So that way they can take care of themselves, they can have the self care and be able to provide high quality service for these populations where there's a lot of need. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So the people that provide the support also need support. And that's what I want to share with all of you today. After time of prayer and reflection, I feel that this is an area that we need to work on more. And that's why today I want to, announce that I'll be focusing on working with professionals that support special needs, families, and individuals or other disabilities, and working with those professionals and professional caregivers through life coaching. This isn't a decision that I've made. And this is an area that I want to work with and something that I can relate to because I myself have gone through burnout episodes, severe episodes of burnout, especially the last couple of years. In 2024, I left social media because I was burned out. Working with autism, it got me to burnout. And then after that, I left again social media, burnout. And I've been able to, to heal, thanks to my faith primarily, but also coaching has been helpful for me. Kind of ironic because I was studying to be a certified life coach, but coaching was helping me as well in my process to get clear, to get clarity in terms of how to move forward with my life. And I credit coaching, it's, coaching to help me as well, not only professionally, but also personally. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I believe that with my experience through my certifications as a life coach and also my experience both professionally and personally as a special needs professional and also as an advocate and also as a person who lives the autism spectrum, Asperger, I want to be more correct. I know that I can help these professionals in getting the support that they need. So, and I'm assuming that perhaps there's a professional that have followed my work for years that support autism and get maybe and be connected to what I'm saying. So if you're a professional that you're watching me right now, that you have followed my work as an advocate for autism or mental health or any other special need, I want to help you in this new phase, potentially as a coach. And I want to have a conversation with you. You imagine that you're going through your challenges, your struggles, because you're not just a number. You're not just providing the service. You're a human being, and you need the support that you need to have a great quality of life and providing the best service and connect you with the purpose that God gave you in a very high demanding field. That's the reason why I'm going to be making this change. Not simply a change, but also an evolution in regards to providing support for those behind the support for people with a diagnosis. And that's what I want to focus on as the Purpose Life Coach, working with the professionals. So if you know of any professional in this field, whether it's a therapist or an educator, healthcare professional, therapists, doctors that support families with a loved one with a special need or a disability or a neurodiversity, I'm going to mention that as well, and you feel that they need that support, it might be interesting in seeing how life coaching can be helpful for them. I'll be more than happy to set up a time to talk with them. Not to send them a service, not to tell them, oh, I'm offering a service. No, no, no. It's just to have a conversation and see if we can work together. That's when I want to learn more about the professionals that serve the special needs population and or the disability population. And that's what we're going to be focused on. So moving forward, you'll be seeing a lot of content, video, through my website, geared towards providing that support for special needs. This is an evolution of my role for this community. It doesn't mean that I don't care about the people with a disability or special need or autism or the parents. Quite the contrary, I care for them and they will always be part of my mission. It's just that this is an evolution and this is an area that I believe there's a need. There's a need out there because these are the professionals again that provide the support for this population. And I believe that through coaching, coaching can be a powerful tool for them in helping them with their challenges, whether it's burnout, being overwhelmed, and many others. So that's what I want to focus on, and that's my invitation to the professionals. They're watching this. So hopefully, coaching can be helpful for you getting from where you are to where you want to go. That's the main focus of coaching. And if I can be your guide, I'm a person that is connected to these populations, to these communities, throughout 12 years, and also in addition to my work experience in customer service. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. So if you're interested, I want to hear from you, or want to hear through your comments, here on YouTube, through my social media, through my website. Please write to me if you want to set up a time for a conversation, and I'll be more than happy to do so. I invite you to have that conversation with me and see how can I help you. That for me, that's the most important thing. So again, if you know, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, it's Tony Hernandez Pumorejo, the Purpose Life Coach. Tony Hernandez Pumorejo, the Purpose Life Coach. That's my YouTube channel here, so that way you can keep up to date with new content. And if you want to learn more about my work, my life coaching service, and say this is something that can be a fit for you, and primarily more than that, to have a conversation with me and see how can I help you, please go to my website, thplifecoach.com, thplifecoach.com. There through my website, you can learn more about my story, my work, and see if this is if I'm someone that I can potentially help you in your journey. So please share this with everybody you know, especially professionals that provide support for people with disabilities and other special needs. I would greatly appreciate this. So this has been from me for now. If you have any questions, anything that I can do for you, I'm here. Okay. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate your time. Um, and again, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been Tony Hernandez Pumorejo, the Purpose Life Coach. And I wishing you all a wonderful day, afternoon, or a good morning from any part of the world. Okay. Thank you so much. God bless you.